Okay, item 13 for discussion and possible action to approve a change in the district's bonds trustee and recommended by district accountant Wes.
You've got a copy of my detailed analysis of that. We've been talking about this for several months. The short version is that responsiveness and accuracy on the part of the bond trustee is critical in my estimation. I haven't had that confidence in our current bond trustee as they've moved it 3 or 4 times in a 3-year period, and I'd like to have somebody that I have a little bit more confidence in. And the other thing is that...
Are you recommending?
Well, the written recommendation is that we, based on the bids that we received, go to U.S. Bank. Their Bank of New York, BNY Mellon, would be a little bit less expensive, not a lot, but a little bit less expensive than the U.S. Bank. However, the functionality at BNY Mellon is the same as that of Wells Fargo. I've had to do everything I have to do. There's 3 different people I have to talk to at Wells Fargo. With BNY Mellon and with Zions Bank, in both of those instances, I would have one point of contact. Anytime I had a question about it, there's one person I would talk to, and that's who would be dealing with everything. And that, in my estimation, is a lot better functional approach.
I want you to know, so I'll show you.
In
my review of this, I wrote on her, good job, Wes.
Oh, I appreciate that.
They do have the administrative charges, but they charge less for the
That's
annual.
correct. Yes, their annual. And the other thing that I want you, that maybe I could point out to you, is that over time, those $1,000, the bonds that we're paying $1,000, as we refinance those, we're doing GEO bonds now. GEO bond only costs through U.S. Bank $350, so our 2008, 2011 bonds are only costing us $350 a year instead of $1,000. We're looking at the possibility of a refi of the 2004. If that were to happen, that would save us another $700 a year or something. So,
Yeah,
I think our bond rating.
yeah, and the critical thing is that make sure that we're handling stuff right to retain a good bond rating. That's important.
For public's information, we lost our bond rating, but we retrieved it.
We're back at positive out.
Great.
Okay.
I think it's a great recommendation, and I too would like to give you a pat on the back.
That's a nice job.
Great job, yeah. And with that, I'll move that we approve Wes's recommendations to change our district bond trustee to U.S. Bank.
No, I will. Finish your. Sorry.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll move on to item
We'll,
14.
what will happen is we will prepare all the documentation for the next student contract and bring that to the board for signature when that's completed. My expectation is we've got bond payments that are due the first part of January, and so we're likely going to make this happen after those take place so that we're not caught in a situation where we don't get payments made on time.
Just keep an eye on Wes. If you golfing with him, he has a U.S. Bank
Yeah.
a couple of shirts that say U.S. That we may want to.
New car, the logo.
Yeah. Thank you, Wes. Item 15 is our hydrologist report.
Oh, did 14 is the account
14 is the accountant's
report.
report.
I'm sorry.
We're already tired of listening to him?
Yeah, get used to it. What you get used to.
Didn't mean to cut you off there, Wes.
That's okay. Yeah, just finishing my written report pretty much covers the things that have been done. I do want to address specifically item number 2 in my written report, which has to do with the budget preparation timeline, which you have in front of you. The things that I specifically want you to note are the budget work sessions with the board. We're looking to do those on Thursdays, on March 13th and again on April 3rd. As if you'll remember last year, the the one on March 13th, my expectation is that's gonna be probably an all-day event. If things go well, then the one on the April 3rd will be maybe a 3 to 4 hour one to be done. But that gives the board a chance to look at everything that we're doing in detail, get feedback, make sure that we're all on the same page. That also gives the public an opportunity to be here and be aware of what we're discussing.
It just mirrored as his annual budget, seemed to be a quarterly thing. Right around the corner every time we pass.
Wow, I can't believe it's coming up that quick.
So I'm just looking for feedback. This isn't anything that needs to be agendized or formal approval, but I'm just looking for personal acknowledgement that those times seem to be reasonable. And if they are,
Since I don't
I'll
plan
proceed.
any more than 2 days ahead, they look good to me.
Okay, thanks, Wes.
I'll check the basketball schedule though, just to make sure.
Mr. Bunker.
Hey, we have the crews that have been working on the scenic and flat top tank. They're actually, I'll have to check in after this meeting and see if they finished up at the scenic or at the flat top tank. But those two tanks are both together tight tanks, and which a lot of our tanks that we have are actually welded steel tanks. These are made out of panels. They're, I think they're I can't remember the dimensions of them. Do you remember how big the panels are? Anyways, they're different panels and they're bolted together what they seal in between them. And once we got the divers in inspecting, a lot of those seals are starting to deteriorate. And we're a little worried the longevity of those tanks. Both of those tanks we found leaks in. And they were in 2006. So that we would have liked to have a lot more life before we started dealing with leaks and some of these issues. A lot of our well-together tanks, one of them, the freeway tank, I think that was put in '69. And we haven't had to do much. So we put a new floor in it. But anyways, stats were looking at that. I think future, we probably kind of go away from maybe some of these bolt-together tanks and then look at the welded steel.
What do they seal them with? You know?
Sikaflex is the material. It's kind of like Colt almost, but listening to the
120 degree heat.
yeah, that's part of the problem is you can actually the flat top tank we had it cleaned last year and also a leak repaired there. They used epoxy for that leak, and epoxy doesn't really expand or contract; it just cracks instead. The contractor we're using has another product that I actually have some in my office after we put it on the ground. It's almost like a rubber foam. Anyways, it can, I think he said, expand up to 70 times. It's
Can we buy some of that stuff? I seen that guy spray the bottom of that boat.
Right. And this is all, it's NSF approved, it's for potable water service, and he's able to inject that into any of the cracks, crevices, and that's, as of yesterday or this morning when I left, I still had a little, you can see a little water coming out in the base of the tank. And what's been difficult is actually chasing, we've sealed all the way around where the leak is, but that leak must be, or the water must be coming from a different leak and then sheeting underneath the tank and daylighting at that spot. And so we've been kind of chasing it, but anyways, it's...
Do you have to patch from the inside, or...?
Correct, yes. So it's been going well, other than some of the information we're getting that these bolt-togethers just aren't looking great. The cathodic protection on them as well is starting to fail. They have an anode that's in the tank, and then there's a connector piece of wire, more or less, that it connects the anode to the tank. 3 out of 10 of them up at the scenic tank have broke and no longer functioning, and the others are at the near point of failure. And I just asked the contractor what's the estimated cost if we had to go replace that. It's $40,000 to $50,000, something like that. So this hasn't been a good thing looking at those bolt-together tanks. Let's see. We just trying to look at my notes see if I have anything else on that tank. Do you have anything? No, I think you
Those bolted tanks, are those cheaper?
They are cheaper upfront costs, but what we're seeing is
Mr. Black informed me that they rusted, where they're bolted
They,
together?
yeah, the
Rust?
bolts are, actually each bolt, you can see that they are rusted on the inside. And so at some point, we're talking to this contractor to see if there's any techniques out there of prolonging, putting a, more or less a covering over it.
Or a liner?
A liner, you know, rubberized or polyurethane, something liner. And so,
And don't galvanize it.
yeah, we're looking at different options. We're still, again, looking at what the options are available for that.
I'm sorry, Sandy.
No, that's fine, 'cause I was just asking the same thing.
Okay.
It must have been a whole lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And now we're
Yeah, they
paying
are.
for it on the other end.
The, at each of our well sites have also
Yeah, that's about it.
implemented a new daily log and daily stat sheet thing that the crews fill out when we do our well visits. And we started that, and that's going to pay dividends in years to come when we have to look at the productivity of wells. It's going to give us some history to make improved decisions on how we work on our wells and retrofit or rehab them. And we also met on December 6th with the Montville Secondary Committee. I think we met about 2 hours and discussed some of the issues. They brought some ideas of fixing, and we discussed through those, and it was a productive meeting. They said they would get back to us after they discussed amongst themselves what went on, and hopefully here 1st of January sometime we're hoping to get back with them, and then bring something back to the board on that issue. I also met with the Virgin River Habitat Conservation Program. We discussed just again specifically with the Water District, our take permit, which you have a take permit is for harming or harassing endangered species, and so that's anything that we do that could possibly do that. And after going through that meeting, we really don't have a lot of ability or whatnot that we can't harm or harass. It would only be really specific our surface water, water rights, and anything that could be endangered fish that could be pulled into the canal or something of that nature. And so we're still working on that, and but after that last meeting, it looked well for the district and going forward on whatever Fish and Wildlife requires of us. Also talked with Warren Hardy a while back. When anything that's went before the legislation for the district requested that he gets the minutes and put that in a package so we can have that on file here for the district's records. And he is supposed to be giving that to us any time now. He has it in his possession. I don't know if he's going to mail it to us, or next time he comes through, just drop it off. And also on the 10th, participating in the Virgin River Watershed Symposium, which was held in Las Vegas at kind of the preserve they have out there for where Las Vegas Wash conveys its water to the surrounding. I'm sorry?
Called the spring.
No, that's a different spot. This is actually a newer spot that they have. It's right off the Las Vegas Wash. They have a kind of refuge set up for waterfowl and things of that nature there. But it had all the federal entities participate in it, state, local governments, and just talked about the Virgin River issues specifically. Actually, Mike Chandler and the Bunkerell Irrigation Company, along with the city, presented on their diversion structure that they put in. Just specific issues that are on the Virgin River, and that was beneficial. And really getting this networking with some of those federal entities, with BLM was there, and their hydrologist spoke with him a bit, and Fish and Wildlife, just on issues. So I guess that's my report, unless anyone has any additional questions for me on the items.
Just a quick question with Warren Hardy. On the information he's going to bring to us, will that give us a better breakdown as to what to expect next year and how the elections will go forward? I know that was something that we had asked him to be checking on for us.
There won't be anything next year, will
all 5 seats.
the election.
That specifically, he will have the,
Legislation wise, yeah.
No, what he already did in
Okay.
legislation.
it's gonna have all the minutes
Copy of the
from where that was
bill.
discussed by legislation, and so, yeah, it should have information that we can better understand the process there.
Okay, thank you, Aaron.
You're welcome.